All right, welcome back, Survival and Basic Badass Podcast After Show. A lot going on this week. We were just talking about socialism here, so I don't know. One of the big things I saw that's kind of concerning in Aurora, Colorado. This one's kind of crazy. Aurora, Colorado. There's an apartment complex with 99 units, and basically the I want to say Venezuelan, but I don't even know. Basically, a cartel, a big gang of immigrants, we'll say, uh, took over the entire complex and are collecting the rent. Now, they didn't move in, they're just collecting the rent from everybody and not letting the owner in. And that's kind of a slick move. And they contacted the police and were like, hey, we kind of have a problem here. And the police were like, you know what? That's weird because another apartment complex is having the same problem. Isn't that weird? You guys could talk. But they said, you know what, though? We can't really do anything because we don't really care. Actually, they said it's a civil matter. And so they then went on to call the FBI. FBI's like, yeah, that's not really our thing. Sorry, buddy. But I feel like if they get away with it, that could end bad for how things are going.
I mean, if you can do it without any repercussions, is it really even a crime? I mean, maybe it's technically against the law, but if nobody does anything about it, then it's not.
They have what is it, San Diego and all that, where if you steal less than $1,000, the police won't even investigate. I mean, that's kind of we're setting a pattern of ridiculousness, I would
say. Right. You just have to be the right type of criminal to get away with it.
Yeah.
Either be really rich or just give zero fucks about anything. Because you can be really rich and embezzle $100,000 and you'll get a fine. But if you're a homeless dude and you steal $100, you might be in prison for a year or two.
That's right.
But you just have to find that right, all the way up or all the way down, and find the right spot for you, and find the crime that you can commit in your neighborhood.
And the thing is, you have to be able to live with it, right? Like how big of a dirtbag are you willing to be, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, well, you can come to New York State and commit any non-violent crime that you want, theft, property damage, anything you want, and they'll arrest you, they'll take you to jail, then they'll let you go, and you just have to promise that you're going to come back. So if you come from a different state, go to New York, commit your crimes, and then leave the state, the warrant's in New York. You ain't got to fucking worry about it. Just don't go back anymore.
Yeah. No, that's right. I don't know. So that's kind of an ugly road. There were some other things going on. I did see. I was out at a hotel, so I just got up in the morning, was doing the little breakfast thing, and they said on the news that I only caught bits of it, but that Hamas there was attacking Israel pretty good earlier this week. They were like, oh, complete success. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not sure that's really
Israel also claimed complete success.
Yeah, in defending. So I know I that's what I was wondering about.
I think it was just everybody trying to save face so that they all look good to the people that vote for them, and then you're good. You're good. It doesn't matter what you actually do. If you can control the media, then you can do whatever the fuck you want. But I mean, whatever.
There was a typhoon somewhere, but I can't even pronounce anything.
Yeah.
So it's Kyushu, Japan's southwestern island. And anyway, 156 mile an hour winds. So that's something going on.
Pretty good.
I don't know how that surprises you, but I mean, that I don't know. It's just weird how things get away from us. But anyway, Kevin, you had some excitement this week.
Yeah. So Tuesday I went out with the missus. We were doing some camping in the backwoods in the mountains there. And as we were going in, I saw some, warning black bear signs, and I've dealt with bears before. It's not that big of a deal. I've run into them 5 or 6 times, and usually they just run off when they notice you. So about 4:30 in the morning. We're sleeping in the tent, and I, made sure all the food was, not at the campsite.
Right.
But I did make a mistake because there was one thing that I missed that was in the stuff. So I had a package that had instant coffee, tea bags, and hot cocoa packets. The bear got in there and ripped it all open and stole the hot cocoa. So I started yelling and, smacked some shoes together or something. Get out of here. And he fucking left. Cool. That's basically what I expect from a black bear. But the next day, I was just about to put some steak on the fire, and I fucking look over.
But he was back
about 25 feet away, like right at the edge of my campsite. He was just standing there watching me, and I was like, "Fuck, bro! Like, you're supposed to run away from people, not come towards them."
Yeah.
So
now what's the rule? You throw him a piece of steak and he's happy, or you throw him a piece of steak
what
and he wants
the
your
thing
leg?
is, you want to be big and scary. That's
you're pretty scary. So
to grabbed a big branch and started down yelling and smacking it and shit. He gave 0 fucks about that. He looked at me like,
he was like, "Man, this guy's an idiot."
Yeah. And like after a few minutes, he was like, fine. He walked around the edge of the campsite, around to the other side, but he wasn't leaving. So I was like, fuck. So we packed up our bags and fucking kind of like shoot him off until we got back to the car. And we left some of our stuff there. We had to go back the next day and get him. But yeah, I mean, generally I don't carry a gun when I go camping because I'm not scared of black bears, because black bears don't give a fuck about people. They want your food, but they have no interest in interacting with you. But this bear had been around these campsites for too long, man, and just realized that that's where the food was, and he had no fear of people because nobody had shot him yet.
Right.
So I talked to the ranger, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess you're like the 8th or 10th person that's been through here that said that black bear was fucking with him. So we might have to fucking shoot his ass, but I don't know.
Wow.
Like I said, I've dealt with a lot of black bears before, and I've never had an issue where they didn't just fucking leave as soon as they saw people."
Yeah.
But
he's getting a little friendlier. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have any of that natural fear.
No.
But
and that's the thing. Like New York does have a bear hunting season, I think, and you guys can.
Yeah. And actually, in New York State, there is a bear hunting season there, and you can get tags for bears. But there's a guy that was actually a bear was fucking up his house trying to break in, and he shot the bear, and the DEP charged him with hunting without a license. So yeah.
All right. So I looked into that because I had you guys remember I had that video way back. I might be able to put it in the show notes of this one, but the bear was ripping apart my chicken coop, and he came back 2 nights in a row, and I was like, well, what can I do about this? Can I go out and shoot him or whatever? And they were like, oh, you can shoot them if they're property nuisance, but you have to call and report it right away. And then you have to bring the bear to them. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. That's like a 400-pound.
Yeah. They're not little.
Monster. I mean, this guy was like 8 foot tall, and he was a lot more than
I
me.
remember seeing pictures of it. That was a fucking big bear.
And I'm like, I'm not bringing him to you. I'm like, dude, you can have it. Because just me loading him in the truck, that's, I mean, now I could do it. Maybe my pallet forks are lifted. I know they say 900 pounds. It would have been stretching the limit right now with this guy. I mean, he was a big boy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously different states have different laws about it.
Maybe the wind could drag him on the trailer, but yeah,
just drag him behind your car,
and try not. In New York, I know they tag a lot of animals, and you really run the risk of them showing up the next day. Hey, where's that bear that we put a chip
They'll
in?
Come by.
Seeing he hasn't moved.
Yeah,
and he's been sitting in your backyard over there for a day. We're worried about him. Can we come see him? Oh, that's awkward. Oh, yeah. So at least push him off the property.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In New York State, there's no shortage of bears. You know what I mean? We don't have an issue with not enough black bears in New York State.
Right.
I mean, they're around, and they'll come right by your house and have no problems with it. And obviously there's safety issues. If you live in bear country, don't want to have a compost bin that has, meat and food rotting in it. There's rules that you go by. But it can be tricky to follow those guidelines 100%,
100, yeah. And that's it. I mean, we all play the game and then we don't talk about it. Slow burn said now little confrontation with a grizzly. So that's a little that's
Yeah,
a little
grizzlies and black bears are not the same thing.
yeah. Black bear, you're like, oh yeah, I'll chase him. Grizzly, you're like,
Right.
shit, we got a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a whole different world. That's a little more than I want to deal with. I hate to say it. I mean, I don't like dealing with copperheads in the backyard, let alone grizzly bears. Yeah, that's a whole different game, different level
Mhm.
of fear, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it goes. So anyway, we're gonna let you guys get going, start your morning, and do all the important things that need to be done. We got some things to take care of, but we appreciate you sticking around and hanging out with us. So with that, stay safe, and we will talk to you guys next week.